It has been written the fate responsible for the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. These are theories that she stole by flying citrus, that the magical bottom broke her into two. She sailed with a rotten keel, all sorts of other nonsense. But my opinion, the purpose of the goal of historian to find out what really happened isn't and it is fate damned. It fares does not come down a sinking a ship. I have evidence to present an account of a historian account is possible of the sinking of the steamer Edmund Fitzgerald. The events leading up to her loss and sequential investigations. Much of the information is down, definitely from the final report of the Coast Guard Marine Board investigation that the National Transport Safety Board, as well as private equities, isn't based on a rumor, especially goals or gossip. It is necessary as it could be determined simple truth. However, the sinking of eminent career coast cursed constant stir a controversy. Even the Coast Guard thought the exhibit investigation has came under fire when the Fitzgerald disappeared from radar screens of the Arthur M. Anderson on November 10th, 1975. Event that shook the Great Lakes maritime community, the attached courtesy special of criticism should not be ignored. I have regret my own opinion and personal feelings about the shipwreck. It to the book, final two chapters in all is written period to point. I tried to produce an objective and historical sound account. November had tragically been the worst time of the year. Storms on the Great Lakes over the years, November storms have been truly harsh, pronouncedly, and have taken a heavy toll of the veterans of men. A classic example was the noticeable storms of November 1913. When it finally died out, a dozen vessels were lost, 16 vessels blown, brown gurge, approximately 254 sailors dead. A storm similar sinking in the November of 1940, sinking of 5 vessels and killing 67 men. November cruel again in 1975. It was Marquette in the night the Fitzgerald sank. Could have told going be a bad night on Superior. I went down to Pearl Isle Park and watched the waves sweep over the island, from which I could see it was one of the worst storms in years. I shot some 16mm film of the storm, waves sweeping over brick wall coming up to the cove. I had never seen waves on Superior that large before. People lured by the false god of technology sometimes understands the colossal power of the Great Lakes Northeastern. Understand the awesome power of the Great Lakes Northeastern. Not simply disappeared and in the 8 decades in the 20th century, 729-foot steamers did swept the nation radio, television, and newspaper typicals lost ocean carrier. Less than a year after the sinking, songwriter Gordon Lightfoot made it into the top of the popular music charts with his ballad entitled "The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald." Lightfoot's song, considered the information he had available at the time, was very good at the count others have been less superior about the sinking to the facts. A typical example of the nose-bearing winds appeared the Great Lakes Triangle, a book nonfiction by J. Gurley about elaborate attempts to infant the Fitzgerald in the large list of ship planes and disappearance in the Great Lakes area without example. It is if the Fitzgerald has been in big trouble, why didn't the Fitzgerald report it? Fitzgerald had radio backups by more radios. The design even most portable, because the flip of the switch would have archived automatic battery power, distress signal, even several of the Fitzgerald so quickly that there were not enough time to flip a switch. No such transmission were ever made. People seem to believe such suffer almost like a reason to them, but the historian job element those appearing myself rather than belonging nothing can happen to a ship the size of the Fitzgerald. There are indeed several things that could have happened. This book consider all of them. The last major vessel lost in the Great Lakes due to storms was the Darnell J. Morris, sunken in November of 1966 in Lake Huron. The force of the storm broke Morrill into two, and she plunged to the bottom with a 28 in her 29-man crew. Period of the time, November 1958, the self-mentoring cradle broke into two and sunk at Lake Michigan gale. Less than life was 32 of 34 men perished. The last Superior storm lost Henry Summer May of 53. Buffalo winds of a 25-foot elevation take care of several hatches covers sea sunk 15 miles south of Isle Royale, taking 17 men. But those vessels were originally old craft. They were average age of the loss of the what loss of was 47 years. The Edmund Fitzgerald was only 17 years old. An object like swords when Fitzgerald was only 17-year old and accessed by the Great Lakes Society site when she launched on June 8th, 1958. She was the largest ship at the time of her wreckage. She was considered steadily strong and presently in a good repair. Fact, she, as such, however, never made much to Lake Superior. Lake Superior, the lake of the sailors, used called old tractors, and always believed Superior to be the roughest of the lakes, even though the lowest of the lakes more shipwrecks. The older carry more traffic and terror offering targets than does Superior, she but from personally subjects suggestive execution is campaigning gates. I have seen Superior and others. I'll say Superior is the roughest every time. As I deliver, I have to enjoy the diving Superior more than any other lake. It's by far the cleanest and the clearest of the lakes. It's also the coldest. I think I can imagine what the Fitzgerald would be like a diver has ever been down of several steel steamers, although currently on nothing approximately her size. There are no steamers were pretty torn up as a result of the storm, and the wreckage progress can picture the plates of the Fitzgerald can be visualized. The way your non-tones prepared rivals everything. Footnotes 1. Stone Horse Frederick went missing unsolved. Lake Superior shipwreck. Every Color Studios Inc. Gowen, Michigan, 1984. The wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, Gordon Lightfoot, 1976. Gorsey J. The Great Lakes Triangle Forecast, published by Greenwich, Connecticut, 1977.